Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be doing the pre-release for the newest 5-star fire damage dealer coming in 1.4 in Honkai Star Rail TOPAZ. I'll be taking a look at what her kit does, and then talking about what kind of set you want to build her on, what kind of stats you want to give her, what Lyco you want to give her, and much more. Now this pre-release is going to be a lot different compared to what it did with Jinglu's pre-release because Mohoya copy struck it. So I am going to be a little bit more precautious when dealing with like images, because apparently an image with just a wall of text on it is enough for them to copy strike it. So for Topaz, I'm going to do what's better than anything else, and that is creating a Google slide. Alright, so let's get started with Topaz's pre-release. Her basic attack deals fire damage equal to 100% of Topaz's attack to a single enemy. Generic basic attack. Her skill, called difficulty pain, causes a single enemy to enter the proof of death state and increases the target's damage received from follow-up attacks by 50%. Only takes effect on the recent target that is applied. At the start of an ally's turn or during ally's action, a random enemy will be applied with it if no enemies on the field are applied with it. Numby deals fire damage equal to 150% of Topaz's attack to this target. Using this skill is considered a follow-up attack. Okay, so we can already see that she prioritizes follow-up attack, and she uses a secondary character as like a trotter pet, and she applies a debuff on a single enemy that will take more damage from these follow-up attacks. Moving on to her ultimate, Turn Up Profit, Numby enters the Windfall Bonanza state, and its damage multiplier increases by 150%, and crit damage increases by 25%. Also, when enemies with Proof of Death receive attacks from an ally's basic attack, skill, or ultimate, Numby's action is advanced forward by 50%. After Numby uses 2 attacks, exit the Windfall Bonanza state. Okay, so her ultimate is just like a buff that increases the damage of the follow-up attack, gives you more damage, more crit damage, and also the advanced forwardness is also really nice as well. Moving on to her talent, Trotter Market, summons Numby at the start of the battle. Numby has 80 speed by default. When taking action, Numby launches follow-up attacks on the single enemy target afflicted with Proof of Death, dealing fire damage equal to 150% of Topaz's attack. When enemies afflicted with Proof of Death receive an ally's follow-up attacks, Numby's action is advanced forward by 50%. The action advanced forward effect cannot be triggered during Numby's own turn. Okay, so this is basically kind of like Jing Wen's like Lightning Nord attack, where like Numby is like on the turntable on the side, where every time Numby takes a turn is considered a follow-up attack that deals fire damage that scales off Topaz's attack. And also every time Numby attacks an enemy that is applied with the Proof of Death debuff state, his action gets pushed by 50% every time, so that is actually kind of nice. It allows Numby to take a lot more consistent turns because it looks like the main damage is going to be instead of directly from Topaz herself. Moving on to her technique. Summons Numby when Topaz enters the open world. Numby will automatically search for basic treasures and trotters in a set radius. Using her technique causes Topaz to regenerate 60 energy after Numby's first attack in the next battle. After using her technique, if Topaz is still in the team when enemies in the open world are defeated, additionally receive a small amount of credits when obtaining credits. Only 10,000 additional credits can be received every calendar day. After using her technique in defeating enemies in similar universe, additionally receive a small amount of cosmetic fragments with a small chance to attain 1 random curio. Okay, this is like a overworld buff, which is kind of new-ish that we're getting as like a technique effect. It actually is kind of nice. I wish more characters had stuff like this. And now her traces. Her first trace buff that she gets, called Overdraft. When Topaz uses her basic attack to deal damage, it will be considered as a follow-up attack. Okay, this sounds kind of generic, but what it allows it to do is to make Numby actually take a turn and deal damage to the enemy, and also allows her basic attack to take advantage of follow-up attack buffs. Her second buff, called Financial Turmoil, increases Topaz's and Numby's damage dealt to enemy targets with fire weakness by 15%. Okay, so just more damage on the side. Her third buff, Technical Adjustment, after Numby uses an attack while in the Windfall Bonanza state, Topaz additionally regenerates 10 energy. Okay, just a nice extra 10 energy on the side. The bonus stats that she gets from her traces is HP percent, crit rate, and fire damage. Okay, so kind of like the same with like every other character, where like they have one trashy stat and the other 2 are really nice. She gets crit rate and fire damage, which is gonna definitely benefit Numby the most. And then her add-ons, in case you are interested in pulling multiple copies of her. Her E1, when enemies affected with Proof of Death receive follow-up attacks, they will enter the Deather state. This can only take effect one time in a single action. Deather increases crit damage from follow-up attacks dealt delta affected enemies by 25%, stacking up to 2 times for a total of 50%. When proof of death is removed, debtor is also removed. Okay, so this is like a nice damage increase to the debuff that you apply from your skill onto an enemy. Her E2, after Numby takes action and launches an attack, Topaz regenerates 5 energy, just nice extra energy. Her E4, after Numby's turn begins, Topaz's action is advanced forward by 20%, which is also nice. Advanced forwardness is really nice to get. And her E6, Numby's attack count while in the Windfall Bonanza state increases by 1, and its fire resistance penetration increases by 10% during its attacks. Okay, so just more turns, deal more damage, and also increases the damage overall of Numby's attacks to enemies, which is, I guess, nice for E6, but like, I wouldn't really go for it. Hopefully it gets buffed, because I feel like for an E6 it isn't that massive or really worth getting in my opinion. But yeah, if I were to recommend Eidolons, I will only really go for her E1 really, because the other ones are like nice side buffs, I guess. I don't really think of them as like Eidolons. I feel like they're more like trace buffs in a way. But yeah, hopefully we see some changes to her Eidolons to hopefully make them more worthwhile. Moving on to Topaz's 5-star Light Cone. The effect on her 5-star Light Cone is increase the wearer's crit rate by 18% and damage from follow-up attacks by 30%. After the wearer unleashes a follow-up attack, apply the TAM state to the target, stacking up to 2 stacks. When allies hit enemy targets under the TAM state, every TAM stack will increase that crit damage received by 12%. Okay, so just more crit rate, more damage, and also more crit damage. So I would say this is actually really nice light cone. Crit stats, damage percent, can't go wrong with this. But what about other ones that she can use if you're not planning to go for a 5-star light cone? For 5 stars, I would say Sleep Like the Dead can be nice. Cruising in the Stellar Sea, the one you get from her to shop, can also be nice if you're free to play. For 4 stars, I would say Swordplay is like the only one that's usable, because like since her attacks are mainly considered follow-up attacks, a lot of the 4 stars don't increase follow-up attack damage. It's weird that she's a hunt character, but she mainly focuses follow-up attack damage, where like that's mainly erudition, so like that kind of her light cone options. But if you don't have swordplay, then I guess you can use arrows really, because like the crit rate can be really nice and the other options aren't really that useful. Alright, and now moving on to relic sets. There's only one set, and that is the fire set, because it increases your fire damage, your skill damage, and also more fire damage after using ultimates. For the 2-piece, there's also one set you want to go for, and that is Salsodo, because it gives you crit rate and she prioritizes follow-up attacks. So really only 2 sets to go for. You can go for another set that might work, or a 2-piece, but really if you want to min-max her, then you definitely want to go for that 4-piece and for that 2-piece. Stats and substats. So for the stats you want to go for is crit stats, attack, speed definitely, because you definitely want to make her more faster in order for her to take more turns to use Numby. For main stats, for boots, I would recommend going for speed, but if you can't get good speed boots, then I would recommend going for attack percent. For link rope, I would go for energy recharge or attack percent if you can't get a good energy one. For chest, you mainly want to go for crit stats. Mainly is going to be crit damage, because she does get crit rate from her light cone and also crit rate from her traces, but whatever crit stat that you need more of. And for sphere, obviously fire damage, because Numby deals fire damage as follow-up attacks. But with that, what kind of characters do you want to use with her? I think honestly kind of just like the same supports you use for any damage character. Tingwen, Bronya will be good in advanced flooring Topaz for her to take more turns, Locha for healing, Japard for shielding, Fuchuan for damage reduction. Basically like the best supports you can give her. She really works with anyone. Alright, and that's going to be it for Topaz's pre-release. Overall, I think she's gonna be like kind of Jingwen but fire. Her scaling seems pretty nice. I think she's gonna deal decent damage with Numby. The only thing I'm concerned is that she's a hunt character for some reason. I don't know why they made her hunt, even though I feel like they should have made her erudition, because erudition mainly specializes in doing follow-up attacks, but for some reason they made her a hunt character. I don't know why. I am interested in how consistent with the advanced forwardness buffs that she gets, how consistent can Nubby really do attacks in like a couple of turns before Topaz herself can take a turn. But yeah, I'm curious of how consistent the damage will be, but it looks like she does get some pretty good buffs. So I think she will be a good character, probably not the strongest character compared to the characters that we will be getting now, but at least a solid, good, nice character, kind of like Jingwen. But yeah, I am very excited for Topaz. Hopefully she's better than Jingwen. But yeah, I'm excited for her release. Let me know in the comments below if you guys are excited for Topaz. And with that, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more content like this, then definitely subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video to support it. Check out my Twitch, the link will be in the description below if you want to catch my live streams over there. That's it for today, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.